Hello students, I hope you are doing well and you must be fine at your homes. So today in this class I have taken up a topic. I mentioned it on the board there as this is one of the very basic topics of your grammar section in English language titled as the sentences. So before starting it, I must remind you what I had told you earlier in the classes too about what a sentence is. It is a group of words that makes a complete thought or sense. This is how you define a sentence. A sentence is a group of words which has a proper sense and has a proper meaning and conveys a proper message to the one you are talking to. Okay, that is what we call a sentence. Now, here again, there is a group of words here. I have mentioned 3 words here in the corner. Is this a sentence? No, this is not a sentence. This is a phrase. In the corner, this is just a phrase. You must be aware about the difference between a sentence and a phrase. And what is that difference? That is the difference of verb. A phrase does not have a verb in it, and a sentence must contain a verb. That is what makes it a sentence, usage of verb in it. In the corner, this is also a group of words. It makes some sense but not a complete one. So this can be called as a phrase. And what is the major identification of a sentence or a phrase? I have told you earlier too that a phrase does not have a verb and a sentence has a verb. So you must be knowing about the difference between a sentence and a phrase first. And what is that? A phrase does not have a verb in it and a sentence necessarily has a verb. So this is a phrase. This is a group of words, but it does not contain a verb. That is why it must be called as a phrase. And moreover, it doesn't give you a complete sense. Okay? Now, suppose I put a verb here in the beginning of this group of words. It becomes a sentence now. Stand in the corner. As I added a verb to the sentence, to the group of words here, it becomes a sentence because it has a verb now. So it should be clear to you all now the difference between a sentence and a phrase is a sentence has a verb in it and a phrase does not have a verb. Is it clear? Okay. Now, whenever we speak to someone, whenever we have a conversation with someone, or whenever you're talking to someone, so you don't have a monotonous tune, means you'll speak differently or you will have the different expressions while speaking to the people. Somewhere you may be speaking with some care, with affection or with love, or somewhere you may be angry over someone. There your tone will be something different, and somewhere you may be excited, you may be nervous, you may be happy, or you may be sad also. So based on these feelings or these expressions, the sentences have been categorized into different kinds, and you must be knowing about that. Which are these kinds? Generally, four you have. The first one is assertive or declarative. Then you have interrogative sentences. The third one you will be having as an exclamatory. And which will be the fourth one? It will be imperative. So I told you earlier that on the basis of the expressions of your words, sorry, or the expressions of the speech, what you are speaking to the people, you have generally these four kinds of the sentences there. The first one, you must remember all these four: assertive or declarative, it is the same. The second one is interrogative, the third one exclamatory, and then the fourth one is imperative sentences. Now we shall be discussing these four kinds of sentences. What was the first one? It was assertive or declarative. To assert or to declare means to say out something in a simple way. Whenever you just need to convey a message to someone, or you are just having a conversation in a simple manner, you just need to pass on an information to someone, there you will put the statement in an assertive one, or it will be a declarative sentence. You are simply stating out something, or you are simply declaring something. I am going out now. This is a sentence which belongs to this category. He wakes up early in the morning. My father goes for a morning walk at 4. So these are all the statements which belong to this category. Let me exemplify you. The boy can play well. His parents are educated. So these are the sentences which are assertive or declarative sentences. I simply told you any sentence which has just an information to be carried on to someone. When you are just passing on an information to somebody, so it will be an assertive or declarative sentence. The boy can play well. Just any information you are giving to someone. Another information here in this sentence: his parents are well educated. This again is an assertive or declarative sentence. You are ready for the test now. And which punctuation mark do you use at the end of an assertive or declarative sentence? That is full stop. Remember this. At the end of an assertive sentence, you always put a full stop. And at the end of an interrogative sentence or at the end of a question, you must be knowing this, that you always put a sign of interrogation or a question mark. And at the end of an exclamatory sentence, you will put sign of exclamation like this. So this separately we will be reading in our punctuation section. the use of these punctuation marks, whether it is comma, full stop, colons, semicolons, hyphens, then any other marks there, this sign of exclamation or interrogation or the inverted commas, etc. So these are all the punctuation marks, but remember just one thing, at the end of an assertive or declarative sentence, you always must put just a full stop there. Okay. So is it clear? There are some examples of the assertive sentences which I have mentioned. Now, let's talk about the second one. It is an interrogative sentence. So interrogation itself means to inquire about something, to ask about something. So it must be clear to you now that if someone is being asked to you, so it will be a sentence belonging to this category, belonging to the interrogative sentence. So just how well have you prepared for the test? Okay, then again, why? How well have you prepared for the test? So this sentence can be used in both the senses, in interrogative and in exclamatory as well. If there is some certain feelings are there or some strong emotions are related to it or some excitement. Strong emotions means or certain feelings or strong feelings. They can be of excitement, they can be of nervousness, they can be of sadness, anguish, disgust, irritation, okay, pity or sympathy. So, if it contains any of these, so like, how well have you prepared for the test? So it can be an exclamatory sentence too. If you put a sign of exclamation at the end, it becomes now, it means you are surprised or you are excited about how well he has prepared. But here, it hasn't been used as an exclamatory sentence, it has just been used as an interrogative sentence. It is not an excitement or it is not an admiration to someone that how well he has prepared. It is just a question. You are just asking somebody that how well he has prepared. You are inquiring about his preparation. So, how well have you prepared for the test? And don't forget to put a sign of interrogation at the end of an interrogative sentence. So, I told you at the end of an assertive or declarative sentence, you will put a full stop. And when you are just putting down a question there, you are narrating it down or you are just writing it, you must remember to put a sign of interrogation at the end or the question mark at the end of it. Then why do you stand alone here? Again, this is the question. Are you joining us in the evening? So again, this is a question and it needs a sign of interrogation when it ends. Okay. Now, remember one more thing. Usually, you have two kinds of interrogative sentences. Two kinds of interrogative sentences you have. One which begin with a WH reporting word And another kind of the interrogative sentence is that begins with any of the helping verbs. Okay, one which begins with a WH reporting word, and another which begins with a helping verb. So which are the WH reporting words? I'm mentioning them here: what, where, why, who, when, whom, whose, or how. This is the one which doesn't actually begin with a WH, but it belongs to this category only, how. So another helping verbs, I have told you earlier to do, be, and have. These are the primary auxiliaries, and then you have secondary or the modal auxiliaries. They are can, could, will, shall, should, may, might, must, ought to, etc. So these are modal auxiliaries, or you simply call them modals. But these all collectively are called as helping verbs. Okay, these are all the helping verbs. Remember this. Usually, how many forms of verbs do you have? You have 3 forms of verbs. The first one is present, second is past, the third is past participle. These are the 3 forms of verbs. But you have just one verb, though it is a helping verb, but somewhere in some sentences or the statements it is used as a main verb too. So this is the only verb which has its 8 forms. I have told you about it somewhere in the previous classes also. And these 8 forms are is, am, are, was, were, being, and be. These are the forms of this word be. And the rest verbs in English language, they have only 3 forms: present, past, and past participle. So these all verbs or the words collectively, they are called as helping verbs. Okay, is it clear? So I was talking about the interrogative sentences, and what I told you that an interrogative sentence either begins with any of the WH reporting words or with any of these helping verbs. What are you doing here? This question begins with a WH reporting word. Where is your book? This again is a question that begins with a WH reporting word. Are you ready to come with me? This is a question which doesn't begin with a WH reporting word, but it begins with a helping verb. And one more thing, a question that begins with a helping verb, that is with any of these, is, am, are, is he ready to come with you, or are they waiting for you, or am I supposed to come with you? So these are the sentences or the interrogative sentences which begin with a helping verb. Remember one thing, if an interrogative sentence is beginning with a helping verb, it can be answered in just yes or no also. Are you ready to come with me? You can answer yes or no. Will he complete it by tomorrow? You can just answer in 2 options, either yes or no. It means any question which begins with any of the helping verbs here can be answered in just 2 options, either yes or no. But if a question is beginning with any of these words, WH words, it cannot be answered the same way, or it cannot be answered in yes or no. It can be answered in a statement. You need a statement in response to the question now. Just as I am asking you, why haven't you prepared for the test today? The question begins with why. So you cannot answer just yes or no. You need a statement in response for this question. You need to give me the reason. It means you will just answer in a full statement. Okay? And whom or how, whose. So if any question is beginning with any of these WH reporting words, I just simply said that you will answer in a full statement. You will not answer in yes or no. But if a question is beginning with any of the helping verbs, the answer can be just yes or no. This will be in handy for you when we talk about the change of narration there. By now, you just need to be acknowledged with this only the beginning of the interrogative sentences and the identification of those sentences, whether it is beginning with a WH reporting word or with a helping word. So what I told you, that is, a question can either begin with a WH reporting word or with a helping word. If it begins with a WH reporting word, you need to give a statement or a full sentence in response to the question or in your answer. But if the question is beginning with any of the helping verbs, the answer can just be yes or no. So this was about the interrogative sentences. Interrogation just simply means an inquiry or asking about something. So whenever someone is asking you something or you are being asked about something or inquired about something, simply it is an interrogative sentence. And remember, you always put a sign of interrogation at the end of an interrogative sentence. Now, come to the next one. It is exclamatory. Exclamatory sentence. So to exclaim means to just express some strong feelings or emotions. That is to exclaim. You may exclaim in wonder, you may exclaim in excitement, you may exclaim in nervousness, in sadness, in happiness, in joy. Okay? These are the different expressions of the sentences or different feelings you are expressing in the sentences. So, how beautiful this painting is, or so these are the sentences which express some strong feelings or emotions. So there can be emotions of anguish, anger, disgust, irritation, excitement, nervousness, sadness, jealousy. So these are all the human emotions. And if you are expressing any of these emotions in the sentences, it means the sentence will be an exclamatory one. And you must put a sign of exclamation at the end of an exclamatory sentence. Okay? Now, the last one, it is imperative sentence. An imperative sentence is one where you find some order, some request, some command, or some praise, some blessing, some wish. Okay, that is an imperative sentence. Just cut out of here. What is it? This is just an order, or it is like a command. So these are the sentences. The first one here, it is a kind of order, help me please. So this is a kind of request here in this sentence, and the last one, it has a kind of blessing in it. So there is another kind of sentence, but that is optative. Blessings, wish, pray. So if a sentence has any of such things in it, so it belongs to this category, optative. Optative is another subcategory of this only imperative sentence. Nevertheless, it belongs to the same one, optative. Blessings, may you live long, may God bless you, may you prosper, may wish, if I were the Prime Minister of my country, that is a wish, then pray again. It can be anything. So here, an order, a request, and a prayer or blessing. So this is an imperative sentence. So what we discussed today, it was about the kinds of the sentences based on the expressions. And there is another categorization of the sentences that is based on the structure of the sentences. We shall be discussing it in other lecture, that is the categorization of the sentences on the basis of the structure, that is simple sentences, then compound, then complex, and their interchange. So that we will be discussing maybe in the next lecture. So now what you remember now from this lecture, first, a sentence and a phrase. What makes the difference there? That is the usage of verb. A sentence has a verb in it and a phrase doesn't have a verb. That is why a phrase does not make a proper sense or a proper thought, but a sentence makes it. Okay? Then, based on the expressions or the tone of the sentence, they have been categorized into 4 general kinds. The first one was assertive or declarative. To assert or to declare means to say out something in a simple way, just to pass on an information to someone, that is to assert or to declare. And that sentence belongs to an assertive or declarative kind. And at the end of an assertive or declarative sentence, which punctuation mark you put there, it is just a full stop. The next one was interrogative. And interrogative means to ask or to inquire about something whenever there is a question. So it is an interrogative sentence. And what do you put at the end of an interrogative sentence? That is sign of interrogation. Then comes your exclamatory sentence. There you have some strong feelings and emotions, feelings of excitement, feeling of nervousness, or the feeling of happiness or joy. So these feelings, if expressed in a sentence, belongs to the exclamatory kind. And what is put at the end of an exclamatory sentence? Sorry, that is a sign of exclamation. And the last one is an imperative sentence. An imperative sentence has an order, a request, a command, a wish, blessing, or a pray in it. So you must remember about these four general kinds of the sentences for now. So we shall be discussing another kinds of the sentences in the next lecture. Thank you.